Good day, Commanders. This is Commander DeMonte reporting from his cliff house, or should I rightly say the loft house in Windows Virtual Reality. And I'm looking here at a skyline in VR and looking way down at some more buildings in VR. I'd love to know if this is actually the Chicago skyline. I asked this question because Chicago was the code name for Windows 95. And I do wonder if this has been done as a throwback to that reference. Because as the old Chicago used to load up, you've got a picture of the Chicago skyline. I'm just going to turn around here in VR, so I'm facing inwards towards my apps, and I'm using my mouse to navigate, and I'm using the central scroll wheel, as you can see, to turn in the direction I want to be. So right button, turn the scroll wheel, that gives me a direction. So this is what I was talking about. I'm just going to minimise my OBS here. Windows 95 was originally codenamed Chicago. So I'd love to know the answer to that one. Right, I've got a couple of windows open here at the moment. I've got my Discord window over to my right. I have my Steam VR over to the left, and you might be able to hear the game is already running in the background. Going to be using a few apps within the game. One of these is OVRDrop, which is currently on sale on Steam at 30%. A fantastic app. Works really well in Elite Dangerous. And I use it to monitor the G13 or G19 app that I've got running in the game. One of the other things I'm using is this Joy Focus. So I'll just move a bit closer to this screen. Joy Focus using the software called Auto Hotkey. Now, if you install Auto Hotkey to install this bit of script, what happens is the second you move your joystick, it will focus in-game on Elite. So this helps you avoid the alt-tabbing and the swapping backwards and forwards and things like that, and having to lift your visor up. The second you move your joystick, it focuses all of the input commands into Elite. Now, currently got the Inara web page open, and one of the nice things I can do from in here is I can actually do a bit of searching if I want to, because I can actually type. So, just to demonstrate that, I'm just going to type Google. It's already got it there in the predictive text. Hit enter, and I've gone to the Google web page. So within the VR, I can type. Now, what I don't get when I'm playing Arizona Sunshine with my friend Fred over here, and if Fred misbehaves, I move him a bit closer to the seagulls and they sort him out. So he's pretty good. He does as he's told. Can't smell him too much in VR. But what I don't get is God rays. Now, the God rays are light hitting the Fresnel lenses at an oblique angle. Now, the Fresnel lenses is what's used in VR. And as light hits these lenses, it can cause what we call God rays. And that's basically the light hitting the corner of the lens and being refracted in a different direction than what you would hopefully think it would be. Now, there's no God rays in Arizona Sunshine, there's no God rays in the audio game that I play, Audio Shield, but there is an Elite. Now, I think the reason for this is that the lighting within the Elite game causes some problems. And we're going to go have a look at those now. So I'm just going to boot into Elite. So we're in Elite, and there's the OVRDrop running the G19 companion app. As you can see, I'm currently in Shinrata. And the Samsung Odyssey headset that I'm using has a higher resolution than the Rift, and the Rift is the unit that I'm going to compare it to. It has much less screen door effect. It's got a lot less God rays, actually. I talk about God rays, and they are annoying, but they are not as bad as the Rift. Can't speak for the Vive, not use the Vive. But the Odyssey with less screen door, with higher resolution, good brightness and contrast, when you do this, and you've been out in the black for a while, they're like lasers in your eyes. And there is no way of controlling them. Now, I've already changed my HUD colours to be more suitable for VR. And we've seen recently, there's a YouTube video of somebody changing the colours live in-game of different elements. So we know it's possible. So what I'd like to see from Fdev is the ability to control these lights, these internal lights, and I've even got a light switch there. You know, if I could turn that light switch off, awesome. Because the Imperial ships are the worst for the God rays when you're out in the black. Now we're here looking at the menu, and we've got a nice curved screen in front of us. I'm going to go to the commodities market, and the screen's flat. And again, I'm in VR, so why there isn't some consistency here from Fdev in making these screens the same, I have no idea. We also have a similar problem, of course, in the GAL map. That screen off there to the left, that input screen, you know, if that screen was just turned at a 45-degree angle, life would be so much easier. I could then get into these boxes. It's easy enough over there to the left, but it would be nice if I could actually just have that turned 45 degrees. And as for inputting text, well, you can't. You've got to copy-paste it. Now, I'm just going to try this in-game. And I've just exited out. And I've got several shift states set up on my X52 Pro. And I'm going to hopefully go back to Windows. Here we go. Reopen this window. And what I can do, if I wanted to, is I could open up a website. Go to EDSM, for example. And I could start looking around here for a system that I might want to go to. I can then copy that by typing in text in here. Press enter, close it, copy it, and I can go back into Elite. I can go back into the GAL map, and I could paste it in there if I wanted to. Now I have got a shortcut linked to that on my X52 Pro, so I can actually copy paste it in there if I wanted to. Okay, so I've got some random text in there as well that I copy pasted across. But basically, this allows me to do everything in VR without removing my headset. And that was my aim when I set this up. Now what I've done there is I've left the web page open on the desktop, so I'm going to move back to the desktop. I don't need that now, so I'm just going to minimize it. Close it. And this brings the Elite G19 app back to the top. This app needs to be on the top for OVRDrop to work. I'm just going to turn around a little bit. And we'll go back into Steam. So there we are. We've got a second app running within the game. We've got a way to input text. And if you need to talk to me and I'm talking in VR, you might get an answer a bit like this. So there you go. I'm not typing that. I've linked that to a macro on the shift states. So I've got a few commands that I can do. Sorry, in VR, chat limited. I can post that to local. How am I doing that? Well, I'm using macros. And if you really want to talk to me, you can wing chat. So by having these mini text messages set up to buttons, I can paste them without having to type anything. Or if I was using Discord, I could have Discord in this window here, and I could go out to Windows, so I could monitor Discord from here, but I could go out to my Windows by pressing my button and then type in my Discord app directly to respond to somebody. So by using the Windows mixed reality, as they call it, I can bounce between the game and the outside of the game, so I can talk to people. And I can use it to research information and basically sit in VR for much longer without having to lift the headset on and off. My biggest gripe, and the only thing I don't like about playing this game in VR, is when you're out in the black, is what we call the God rays. Now, when you're in a brightly lit situation like this, it's not so bad, but the ability just to turn these lights, please let me turn that light switch on and off, would be really good. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's just a short video. I'm going to try and get back to doing some more streaming in the near future. And as you can see now, I'm going to go back to my desktop. I do have a shortcut set up, so I don't actually have to open OBS, and I can stop my recording. TTFN.